Moving on to our other top focus, hashtag support Shiva Keshavan is trending on Twitter after India's luge athletes sought people's support to put pressure on the government to help him with funds. India Today had first reported in June that Shiva was in dire needs of funds, which had stopped abruptly, allegedly under the new sports minister Sonowal. Shiva had alleged that the minimal support he got under Jitendra Singh was stopped despite repeating pleas, and that he will be forced to give up the sport if he doesn't get funds for a coach soon. Since then, the sports ministry has released 10 lakh rupees to him, but Shiva claims it will not help him hire the services of his coach before the next Winter Olympics in 2016.
Obviously, when I...
Shiva Keshavan now joins us live from Arezzo, Italy. Shiva, first of all, I remember you speaking to us before the government had made this move. Now they've sanctioned 10 lakh rupees, but tell us, why are you so unhappy with the grant you've got?
And I just simply had requested the government to please pay for a full-time coach, because I think I'm the only athlete at this level who doesn't have a full-time coach. So the government's response was that, okay, we'll pay for your coach, but we'll only give him 1/3 of his salary. Now, I don't know what to make of it, because I'm not able to pay for the rest, and the coach definitely is not going to work for 1/3 of his salary. So it kind of puts me in a spot, and I'm right now, running from pillar to post, trying to figure out how else I can take this. How else can I continue to train, and how else can I pay the coach? So I've really spoken to everyone. I've even gone to the International Federation, who was very sympathetic with my case, and they will probably be contacting the sports minister from their end, because I mean everyone sees that. If you want to buy a car which costs you, let's say 30 lakhs, and you pay 10 lakhs, nobody's going to give you this car, so it's as simple as that. And, when I've again and again said I have no other sources of funding, it's 19 years I'm representing India, I've won 7 medals for India, and still I'm treated this way. I mean, it's very disrespectful, to say the least, not just for me, but for all the athletes in the country. It shows what these people think of us athletes.
Right. This comes, of course, in an environment where the ministry has actually put yoga above winter and motor sports. Is that like adding insult to injury for you?
Well, I mean, the ministry for me is free to, recognize as many sports as they want. I don't have a problem with that. I myself do yoga. But, at a certain point, one has to think that, are you going to prioritize a sport, an activity which doesn't have any kind of international competition, which is not present in the Olympic Games, and at the same time you're going to marginalize athletes who like me, who represented India in 5 Olympic Games, and we've never been given any of our due. And it's not even fair to, in fact, ask for performance reports when you're not even, giving training and not even giving a coach. So, we really have to take a deep, hard look at how we are treating our own athletes. And if we want to do well, we have to, follow the example of, let's say, China. China does not have a single luge athlete right now, but they've still hired 2 of the world's best coaches, paying them $500,000 a year.
Right.
Vis-a-vis India, who we have a much better athlete, and I'm not getting any money for a coach. So there's something clearly wrong here.
You've started this campaign online, on social media, support Shiva Keshavan. Hashtag is trending on Facebook. You're getting a lot of response. Tell us more about the response you've been getting.
I've been getting incredible response, and I always do. I mean, there's people in India, they care about athletes so much. You get so many words of encouragement. People have been tweeting, people have been posting on Facebook, asking the government to intervene. And it's ironic that every time I sent a proposal to the government, I don't get an answer for a whole year. And then if I post something on Facebook or do something on Twitter, then after 2-3 days, suddenly I get a call from them. So there's something wrong with our system, and people are behind us. The public opinion knows what's going on, and they would like to see, and like I would like to see, the government support athletes more. But it has to come from the source. If every time the government has to be pushed, or shocked into action like this, it's really not sustainable, because there's so many cases that are not being spoken about.
Right.
And maybe a few, like maybe you can say me right now, I'm in social media. There are other people who've used social media to get either their awards or their due expenses. So it shows that our system is not working, basically.
There's a new sports secretary who's been appointed. I remember that you were trying to speak to Ajit Sharan, who was the former sports secretary, tried to meet the minister, even Sai, new DG. What was the last interaction with the ministry like for you?
Well, I've not had an opportunity to have a back and forth with them, but I've been communicating with the project officers in charge of NSDF. But unfortunately, they are not the decision makers, so it's very difficult for me to actually negotiate or get back with them for feedback. Again, all these things take more time. But when I come, I will be in Delhi on the 15th of September, and I would like to meet the sports minister and the new sports secretary themselves and present this case to them. Because you see, also what happens is, since there's not enough knowledge about winter sports, as soon as there's a change of guard in the ministry, a new minister comes, I have to start the whole process of educating them on what is winter sports, what is the potential, where we stand. And all that is done in the past falls, into oblivion. So I hope that, we can take forward a discussion and continue it over the long term. We need a 5-year plan, a 4-year plan. We can't just wake up 1 month or 2 months or 3 months before a competition and say, ja beta, jaake medal jeet ke aaja. It doesn't work like that.
Right. Finally, I remember last time also when we spoke to you, Shiva, you said if you don't get enough funds, this could spell the death of your career. Is time running out for you, really?
Well, the future is very dark right now, if I have to be frank. I have also been actually living on the brink ever since I started, representing India in the sport, because we never, in my 19-year career, I've never had a single year in which the government has paid all my expenses. So, I mean, this has been a problem which has been with me from the start. But, I'm an optimistic person. I believe that winter sports has a huge opportunity, huge potential in India, because I come from Himachal, I come from mountain areas where winter sports are really followed by the people. And all of us dream that one day, our area is going to be known for winter sports, our kids, our friends will have a chance to, represent India, because the talent is there as well. But, probably I was a little too optimistic. These things haven't worked out yet after all these years. But, I have really no option but to go on and keep on fighting for my right. And, my motto is never give in. So, we'll see how far this is going to take me.
Right, of course, half a dozen athletes are getting over 1 crore really in preparation to Rio Olympics. So this also smacks of